One way to improve your employability in the media industry is to have a good understanding of the strategy of the companies that you're applying for jobs with. In this video then, I'm going to walk through a number of different ways to find out what the business strategy is of any particular potential employer and how you can identify opportunities in that. Now, first of all, you need to make sure that you're looking for the company that owns the publication or the program or the outlet that you're interested in, rather than the individual brand. For example, Bauer Media, if I have a look at Bauer Media here, Bauer Media has a number of different brands. It has radio stations, it has magazines, it has publications like Empire magazine and TV Choice. So you might want to work for one of those radio stations or one of those magazines, but it's the it's the company as a whole, Bauer Media Group, that's the company that you should be interested in. And there are a number of ways to find that company rather than the brand. The first is to look at job ads. The second is to simply Google who owns Closer magazine, for example. And the third is to look at the website for the publication or program that you're interested in. So, for example, if I go to the jobs listings page on journalism.co.uk, I can see jobs here with the Grocer magazine and with the Eastern Daily Press and the Telegraph. But what's worth highlighting here is that the name of the company is who you're actually applying to. So the Grocer magazine is owned by William Reed Business Media. The Eastern Daily Press is owned by NewsQuest Media Group, and the Telegraph newspaper and website is owned by the Telegraph Media Group, which is slightly different, and so on. So what you're looking to identify is what's the company that owns the particular publication or outlet that you're interested in. Reach is another example. Reach owns a number of different newspapers across the UK, national newspapers and local newspapers, and some websites and some other what are called properties brands as well. So if you can't find the name of the company through these routes, another way is to look on the website of the publication that you're interested in. So this is Birmingham Live or the Birmingham Mail, and if we go right to the bottom of this website, you'll see in the footer area this is basically where you might look to find out who owns Birmingham Live as a brand. And the copyright notice is one big clue. We can see here it says copyright 2025, a Reach PLC subsidiary. So that tells us that the company that owns this brand is Reach PLC. We could also click on About Us or Work For Us to find job ads again. Another useful area is the privacy notice or terms and conditions. And for example, the privacy notice, it now refers to Reach Group. It talks about who we are, and we are the Reach Group, which is made up of Reach PLC and its subsidiaries. So that's one way to find a company. If you couldn't find it there, then the About Us page might talk about it. And again, in terms of jobs, if you click through to a particular job, the job description will mention the company as well, even if it's branded with the publication name at the top. So those are all ways to find out who owns the brand, and of course you can Google it as well. Now, once you've identified who the company is, the next step is to find their annual report. This is a document where they should talk about how much money they're making and where it's coming from, and also more broadly what their strategy is. Now, quite often this is published on the company website itself. So you would search for, in this case, Reach PLC, or you would search for Independent Television News, ITN, something like that. So this is the Reach website, and you're looking for a section which is to do with money, so investors or corporate, something like that. Even the news section can be quite useful because that's where they would announce annual reports. But we can see on the Reach website there is a results and reports section, and this is where we might find statements and annual reports. And it's the annual reports that you want to be looking for. The other documents are also going to be useful as well. You might have slides that talk about their strategies, for example. But the annual reports are the go-to document that give you lots of information about how this business works, where it's expanding, where it's cutting jobs, and where it wants to go. So this is Reach's annual report. We can see that this is 184 pages, so it's a very long document, which is quite typical for a large company. What this often means is that it's split into two parts. There's a long initial part which is all about strategy, and then towards the end there'll be the actual accounts themselves where they give specific numbers. So have a look at the contents page, have a look for sections that might relate to strategies, and particularly kind of statements from the chairman or chief executive. This is where they might talk about things like revenue diversification, so anything to do with money. They're talking about, okay, where's the money coming from, where are we going to be spending money to try to make money, and where are we going to be cutting things to save on costs. So that's going to be quite a useful section to look at, and just browse through and look for things which might be to do with growth, for example, investment, strategy. Those are all key terms to look for. As you get through the report, it will get more and more specific, you'll get more and more numbers, and it really comes down to what's going to be relevant to you and what's going to be relevant to creating jobs. You'll also get an idea through these reports of the broader kind of values of the organisation, and that can be really useful for applying for jobs as well. Now, if you can't find a report on the official website, then it's time to go to Companies House, and you can just Google for Companies House, and you're looking for the section that says get information about a company. If you click Start Now, you'll be taken to this website, which the address is findandupdatecompanyinformation.service.gov.uk. But basically you're looking to search for Companies Register for Companies House. And what you want to do here is put that official name of the company. So it's not just Reach, but Reach PLC. And we can see it's here. You'll notice that there are quite often other companies with similar names, and this is why it's important to identify the specific company name that relates to the brands that you're interested in. Also, make a note of the address, so this should be the same address which is on the official websites and other websites that you've come across. When you click through, you'll also get some indication of the nature of the business. Sometimes this is very general, so in this case it is, but sometimes it will say it's related to publishing or media or something like that. So this is Reach's page on Companies House. Next you want to go to the Filing History tab, and we're looking for Accounts. We can see it down here, but we can also filter by clicking the tick box next to Accounts, and this will just show you the accounts that have been submitted to Companies House. So if you couldn't find these companies' accounts on the official website, Companies House is the one place where they have to submit these, and you can click on the View PDF link to see that report, and you'll notice it's in black and white because it's been scanned, so it's not quite as colourful. It might not be searchable in the same way as on the official website, which is why it's often better to find the original PDF on the official website first. But the same information is here, and again we can look for terms like strategy, investment, expansion, growth, all those sorts of terms that are going to help you identify opportunities. You can also look for staff numbers and where they're being expanded. You can look for breakdowns of income or revenue, so where the money's coming in, where that's growing, where that's shrinking, if you want to get into more detail. So just to sum up the key points from that, what we're interested in is the company, not the brand. So the first thing to do is identify what's the company that owns the brands that you're interested in working for. Secondly, once you've identified that company, look to find the annual report. Look on the official website, and if you can't find it there, then look on Companies House. And finally, once you've found the annual report, look for challenges and expansion. These are the areas where there are likely to be opportunities in that business. Obviously, where there is expansion, they're going to be recruiting new people, but also where there are challenges, those are opportunities for you to develop skills and say that you are going to be able to bring solutions or bring skills into that organisation that helps it deal with those challenges.